Super excited today. We have none other than former WWE Tough Enough contestant, current women's ass kicker, Ivelisse Velez. Ivelisse, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, man.
We are going to be talking all things Ivelisse today, but first and foremost, we're going to be talking about some upcoming shows you have. FWE in the city on October 3rd and October 4th. There's 2 shows. The first night, October 3rd, you'll be teaming up with none other than ECW original Tommy Dreamer to take on Candice LeRae and Joey Ryan.
Pretty excited about that.
Yes, this is going to be an amazing match. What are some of your thoughts on this awesome mixed tag match?
Well, I mean, obviously, I get to work with Tommy Dreamer. I mean, he's obviously a great person to learn from, and it's the first time it's the first time that I team up with him or work with him. It'll also be the first time I work with Joey or Candice, even though I did do a tag match before with Candice, but I haven't been against her. And I know a lot of people have been wanting to see that, me against her, because it was originally supposed to be me versus her, and then it ended up being a tag match. But a lot of people really wanted to see that, and I really want to see it because Candice obviously is very, very talented. And definitely because Joey and Candice are a very well-established team. So they're definitely going to be a pretty tough team to beat. So I look forward to that day.
All right. Well, not only are you fighting them on the first day, but the second night you're going to be taking on the current FWE champion, Maria. What will the outcome of this match be? Do you think you could be possibly walking away with the FWE Women's Championship? Well,
definitely with my hand raised, becoming a double champion. I feel that it's going to be a pretty good matchup. Last time on the last show, me and her were teaming together against Katarina and Angelina Love, and we kind of had a little bit of a heated moment there. So it'll definitely be very interesting to see how our dynamic will be for the second night. And I definitely look forward to taking that championship. She held it for a little too long, so see what happens.
Okay, so this is something that I'm very interested to hear your answer on. Are you currently happy with the state of women's wrestling today?
Specifically speaking, or in general?
I mean, just you're out there, you're out on the road, you're going from place to place. Even lump in WWE, TNA, wherever you want to talk about. Do you think it's on the upswing? Are you excited for the future?
I feel that obviously women's wrestling was at a pretty good high, couple years ago, a couple years ago. But now I feel like a lot of us independent girls are really, really trying very hard to kind of bring that back. And I feel like it's obviously still pretty difficult, and it's going to take a lot more from us, and hopefully the view from the power, higher ups and all that, from the big time companies or whatnot. Hopefully they can start opening up more to the girls who actually want to bring female wrestling as a to its purest, more chances, and little by little here and there, you'll see, like, for an example, with Paige and WWE, or, Havoc now and TNA, and and of course there's other ones. But like little by little, you can see that little, string of hope here and there, and hopefully it continues. It's going to take a little time, like any other change, but I feel like at least like you can see the effort that we as a whole, us women are making to try to bring it back to that,
Absolutely.
So I can only hope that it gets to that.
All right. Now, everybody knows you that you're on WWE's Reprisal of Tough Enough. You were eliminated after suffering an injury. Do you think being on the show helped your career or hindered it? Or maybe you could tell us a little bit about that experience?
Well, I can't sit here and say it didn't, because it definitely did. I met incredible people in the Tough Enough filming. Producers from the actual network, or WWE actual officials. Like, I met a lot of great people, and it opened up doors for me for like I said, network people that don't have to do with WWE or people with WWE. It opened up doors for me on that big scale. So it definitely helped my career. And the only way I could say it kind of hindered is like now, forever I will have everyone always, former WWE contestant. So it's like, I'll always have that in my name, but I actually had wrestled for like 6 years already by the time I entered that. So it's like, that wasn't the beginning of it all. It was pretty much a stepping stone to get more exposure or get more noticed by officials, and try to sneak my way, into whatever door I may open with that. So, but it definitely was a big help.
Okay, so what is the best thing about being a professional wrestler, just in general? Like, most people wake up and they have a 9 to 5. So what is it about professional wrestling that you love so much?
Honestly, I am obsessed with the art form. I think someone had asked me something like that before, a couple of days ago. I love and am absolutely in love and obsessed with the art form of telling a story and creating emotions to whoever's viewing that story. And it's every single time I'm in the ring, it's like a puzzle for me, because, and I just enjoy that. I enjoy trying to put that puzzle together to try to create like this masterpiece that, evokes these emotions in whoever watches it, and that's how I see it. That's, everyone's different, but to me, that's what motivates me. And also to be able to be an inspiration for others is a definite big plus as well for me personally. So I would say it's a combination of both of those.
All right. Now, I asked you a little bit about Tough Enough. One question that I'm kind of curious about, does it bother you that the only survivor from your Tough Enough season
I already know what you're mad.
Is Cameron, or I don't know.
Look, I can't sit here and tell you that it doesn't, because obviously it does. I'm a human being. I'm not going to sit here, though, and say bad things about her, because I have nothing against her. She never disrespected me or anything like that I know of, to my face or anything. But obviously I'm going to say honestly that obviously it does bother me. It bothers the hell out of me as much as it probably bothers the hell out of everyone.
It bothers me, just for the record.
But hey, what can you do? Can't do nothing.
Yep.
So I'm going to ask you just a quick question, and maybe you've thought about this, maybe you haven't. If you had to create the perfect women's wrestler by taking certain things from one and another or whatever, is there like a formula that you have? Like, Trish Stratus's brain and Fabulous Moolah's, like, I don't know. Is there any, like, do you find like that there's a perfect combination of the greatest women's wrestler of all time?
Well, that is the question I would have to sit and think about. There's so many different wrestlers and everything, but honestly, I would like to say that I try my best to actually be that. Like, I always try to absorb everything I see, and not just women wrestlers, even male wrestlers. Anything I see that would inspire me, or like inspires an idea for me, or even a certain guy or anything, I always try to I'll grab something, but I'll twist it, or I'll grab something from two different people. And, I feel like you can always learn from other people. Or like learning how to, different types of selling from different people, or, oh, that person sold it like this, so that looks better if you sell it like that, or anything at all. Like, at least I can say for myself, I try to be the best I could be, and try to be as innovative as possible and everything. But to really say, really put it together like that, I would have to really sit down to give you a really accurate answer to that, because I haven't really thought about that.
All right. Now, as a young Ivelisse, did you grow up, watching WWF? And I'm sure everybody pretty much did, but was there somebody that you were just a really big fan of? And who might have shaped who you are today? Is there anyone that you take, interest from, or, inspiration from into your character?
Honestly, growing up, my brother was a way bigger fan of wrestling growing up, honestly. And I didn't really watch it as religiously as he did and whatnot. I was more of an athlete than my brother. And I can just say that the one person that really I was a fan of was Stone Cold Steve Austin. All right. And so if I would say anyone, it would definitely be him.
Okay, so here we are, lightning round. First thing that comes
I wish y'all could see my face. I'm like,
okay, so name your professional wrestling idol. It could be today, yesterday, whoever. Who is the one person that you idolize in professional wrestling?
Austin.
If you weren't a wrestler, who would you be?
I would be a movie star.
5 years from now, where do you see yourself?
In the movies. As a kick-ass female action movie star.
Which word is more offensive for women's wrestling, diva or knockout?
Neither are offensive.
Okay.
Everything depends how you present it, I feel.
Okay. Favorite city to perform in?
Favorite city to perform in? Can I say my island, Puerto Rico?
Absolutely. You can say whatever you want.
Okay.
What's your best quality?
My best quality? See, that's a tricky question, because some might see it as a strength, some might see it as a weakness. So, my take no bullshit attitude.
Okay, then what if that's what you think your best is, then what do you think your worst is?
My worst is, maybe my take no shit attitude.
That's awesome.
I don't know. I guess my worst would be, honestly, my worst would be, that I'm very, very, very hard on myself. I'm like my own worst enemy and my worst critique.
All right. And how about the best women's wrestler in the world today?
The best women's wrestler in the world today is Ivelisse Huntress Velez.
That's it.
That's what we were looking for. Now,
Awesome.
Is there any place that fans of our show or fans of you can find you? Are you on all the social media?
Yes, Twitter @Real Ivelisse, and Facebook Ivelisse Huntress Velez. Those are the two main ones.
Ivelisse, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sonjay Dutt, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys having me.
Just kind of a generic question, I guess, but most pro wrestlers can kind of pinpoint a moment that made them decide that they want to become a wrestler. I've seen on other interviews and stuff that you said that you've watched it and your father watched it, but do you have any sort of memory or anything that said, like, after you saw something you said, this is it, this is what I'm going to do?
You know what? Not one specific thing. I think it was just the whole package of pro wrestling. It wasn't one specific thing. It was just everything that went into pro wrestling watching on television, where I was like, this is so cool. And to be honest with you, man, I never really set out to make this a career. I never set out for anything that happened, really. I thought that this is something really cool that I want to do, but never did it cross my mind that I could really make a career out of it until I got into it.
All right, Sonjay, how important to you is your Indian heritage in wrestling? Because I mean, there's not too many guys, at least in North America, I would say that
yeah,
that how is it important being with your Indian heritage?
Well, I think it's kind of not kind of, but I think it's very important. In pro wrestling, anything that's different, you got to exploit that. And, that's the key to pro wrestling, is standing out and being different and exploiting anything that makes you different. And what made me different from day one was my heritage, the fact that I spoke another language, the fact that I didn't look like everybody else, the fact that I didn't act like everybody else. So, I kind of took that and ran with it. I ran my own tour of India this February. I've been to India for TNA for a ton of times. It's opened up a whole big set of doors. We did Ring of Kings season 1 in 2012. All these opportunities would have never gotten thrown my way if it wasn't for my heritage.
Now, speaking of Ring of King, how was that? Because I know that Jeff Jarrett was really integral in that, but he had you helping. Did you enjoy not only like bringing wrestling to India, but also doing some of the behind the scenes stuff, I would imagine?
Yeah, absolutely. It was the first time where I was put in that type of role. It was brand new. So, it was an opportunity for me to kind of learn a different facet of things and kind of learn a whole new job, really. And, it was pretty cool because, since then on, I was just being in the ring and being a talent. And now I was behind the scenes and I was, orchestrating things here and there, and I was getting pulled in a million different directions. But I loved it because it was an opportunity to learn a whole new side of the business.
All right, now Sonjay, October 4th, FWE Wrestling in Brooklyn, New York. It's gonna be Chris Sabin versus Sonjay Dutt. Are you excited to be wrestling for FWE? And secondly, what do you have in store for Chris Sabin?
First off, I love FWE. I'm so excited to come back. I don't think I've been there since, and I think maybe the last show was last December, if I recall correctly. But I've been with them for quite a few years now. It's probably the best crew, and not just talent, but I'm talking backstage. I'm talking everybody that has anything to do with that promotion. It's the best crew that you'll ever meet, the nicest people, and I'm just I'm so honored to be a part of it for so many years now. And October 4th is actually, October 3rd and 4th. I'm going to be on the 4th versus Chris Sabin. Chris Sabin is a good friend of mine, one of my best friends. And, we've been in the ring a ton of times, but this is probably the first time we've been in the ring, I'd say, in 5 or 6 years. So it's going to be really cool. We've both, I want to say, evolved into completely different performers. And on the good side, Sabin came back from 2 knee surgeries. He became world champion. So it's going to definitely be a really cool night, especially for me getting in there with a good friend of mine like Chris Sabin.
Now, for fans who haven't had the opportunity to see you lately, what have you been up to?
Everything, man. Whatever comes my way. This year, this year's probably been one of my busiest years. I've wrestled now in 8 different countries since January 1st. That's just this year. I went on an international rampage this year and just kind of got on a plane and just started flying everywhere and wrestling everywhere and just kind of sharing my love of wrestling with the rest of the world.
All right, now, Sonjay, you had a great run in TNA facing some of the best wrestlers out there today. What do you think maybe the crowning moment for you in TNA would be?
I don't know, man. Maybe it hasn't come yet. Actually, just 2 weeks ago, I did 2 shows for TNA, so I still am there, kind of here and there. I pop up once in a while. But I don't know. I think basically the crowning moment would be getting to TNA, and because when you get to a level like that, you know that you've kind of made it, and you know that you can kind of make a living being a pro wrestler, which is something that anybody that's starting on independence kind of strives for, kind of dreams of, and it always seems like unattainable. It's just such something that's so far out of reach, but when you get there and you actually get it, you realize, man, that's really, really cool.
Can I just say that I think it's time that you've won the X Division title, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say that needs to happen sooner than later.
Hell yeah. I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
You were speaking about TNA, and we did see that you had wrestled a couple of dates not too long ago. What are your thoughts on the current direction of TNA? Like, are you happy that they're kind of? I know that they're looking. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I've been watching the TV, and it's been really fun for the last month, I'd say. Those New York tapings were it's a really fun show to watch lately. And I think that goes back to the fact that you're concentrating on wrestling, and you're giving a wrestling heavy show, and that's what the fans of TNA want. I think that pro wrestling fans in general want that, but I think specifically the fans of TNA were so accustomed to getting good quality wrestling matches that got time, and they didn't get that for a long time. So now that they're going back to it, I think that it's made for a much more fun show.
All right. Now, as a pro wrestler, you're traveling all over the world to wrestle. Is there anything you could talk about briefly that, about life on the road, basically? Is there anything that you love about it or hate about it?
I love it, man. I love seeing the world. Through wrestling, I've traveled the world. I think about 14 different countries I've wrestled in and stuff like that. So, to me, I'm a big guy. I'm a big mark and guy that where you get to a country that I just want to do all the tourist stuff, man. I want to take pictures because the life is short, man, and there's a big old world out there that I haven't seen, and I want to see every little bit of it, and I love that. Probably the worst part of traveling is just being away from home. I have a family at home and a wife and a kid that takes precedent over everything else. So, having to leave them and being away from my family, that's the tough part.
Okay, now we may be a little late on this, but I recently found out that last year you were, or maybe you weren't, but I'm hoping that you were, part of a rap song?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
So how did that come about?
Let's see. I met a guy in, I want to say Detroit. His name is Ashoka. He's a rapper out of Detroit. And I'm a big hip-hop fan. Next to wrestling, the only other passion really I have is hip-hop. And I'm not talking just music, but the whole life, the whole culture, everything. So I said, well, hey, man, let me get a CD and I'll check it out. And I checked it out, and I fell in love with it, man. He was a really talented guy. And we became friends from there, and he came at me one day and he said, hey man, you ever thought about rapping? And I have no musical talents or abilities at all. And I said, I would never even think of that. And I would just embarrass myself, and people be dogging me on the internet left and right. He said, no, let's just give it a shot. And we did, man. And I mean, like I said, I got no musical talents. It ain't the greatest thing, but I did it, and I was kind of proud of the fact that I kind of put myself out there in a completely different light. I think it's track 11, Ashoka, Heart of a Lion. It's on iTunes. If anybody wants to check it out, yeah, check it out, man. If that's your bag.
Now, before we let you go, we have a little bit of a lightning round, we call it, kind of like word association. We'll ask you a quick question, and then you just give us, the first thing on your mind, pretty much, okay?
Go for it.
Your favorite Kevin Nash gimmick?
Ooh, I'd say Diesel.
Okay, not your favorite wrestler of all time, but who is the best wrestler of all time?
Oh, jeez. I'm going to go with Sabu because he's also my favorite.
All right. What's your hidden talent nobody knows about?
Hidden talent? Jeez Louise. I don't know, man. You gotta put me on the spot now. I like to draw. I'm not too good, but I like to draw.
Okay. Name one wrestler that you'd like to work with today that you haven't yet.
Let's see. AJ Styles and I've never had a singles match. So.
Okay.
AJ Styles or Sabu. We never had a singles either. We only did tags.
All right. Favorite music? Favorite type of music?
Hip hop.
All right.
Hip hop.
If you could describe Jay Lethal in one word, what would you say?
Oh man, it's 2 words, but best friend.
Okay.
How about WWE?
Top dog, I guess.
Okay. Favorite type of food?
Sushi.
And the one championship you would love to win?
Oh, you said it already, man. The X title.
All right, perfect. Sonjay, we really appreciate you joining us. Guys, check out October 4th, which will be fighting Chris Sabin for FWE Wrestling. And Sonjay, where can the fans find you, too, before we let you go?
Yeah, absolutely. Check me out on Twitter at Sonjay Dutterson. And then I'm on Facebook. I don't know, search my name. And the one that's me, I got a hat on and some speakers around my neck. So check it out.
You also have a Pro Wrestling Tees shop, correct?
ProWrestlingTees.com/Sonjay Dutt. You're a smarter man than me because it didn't even cross my mind.
We do our research.
I just put a brand new shirt up like 2 weeks ago. So yeah, cool. Check it out, man.
All right, Sonjay, we really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us.
No, thank you guys. It was a blast.